Hi, I'm Elka, and I am keeping it local with Jason at Halftime and at Decadent. Yeah, so welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're actually located on Hoyt between Fenimore and Mamaroneck Avenue. If you haven't checked it out, then you are totally missing out on the largest beer collection anywhere.
Supposedly in the country or the world, but I don't really have a Guinness Book of World Records. So,
we got to work on that.
Yeah, we're trying to work on that eventually. Yeah.
But it's a large selection.
Yeah, it's we started in Poughkeepsie, I want to say close to 20 years ago, and my father started the business, and we basically started a retail concept that started within about 12,000 square feet of the store, and that was basically in the late 90s, early 2000s, and there wasn't a ton of craft beer brands at that point. There might have probably been 100 to 300 main SKUs out there. So mainline breweries like Dogfish or Sierra Nevada or Stone or a lot of the older classic breweries. And then he got into kind of growing the business and trying to bring in as many brands under the same one roof. And that's how kind of the largest beer store really known in the country kind of became it.
And what's the name of that?
That was Halftime.
Oh, that was Halftime.
Yeah, that's Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
So that's how it originally started.
And it's still in existence?
Still in existence. Opened in around 2001. Took us about 2 years to build it out. Bought the whole property, developed it. It used to be an old Myron lumber facility, and then we rebuilt it, reproposed it, and put a restaurant in next door, which is Crew. It's a really cool, funky American classic restaurant. And then there used to be a high-end wine and liquor store there, but now there's a more like a toy, mechanics, remote control place up there. So it's kind of like the
old school, like
old
remote
school,
control,
remote control, boats, planes,
asteroids. And
they've got drones they sell in there. So it's kind of like
a hodgepodge local store.
Yeah,
it's become. Oh, neat.
Yeah,
that's fun. So your dad kind of like nurtured you and said, "Run, Jason, fly," and here's what you created.
I think so. I think I started working in the stores when I was a teenager, so it was very far away from being able to drink or consume beer. I started in the bottle return area. We started working on some of the forklifts and bringing in trucks of beer and stocking it, and kind of learning the brands and associating what was local beer and craft beer, and learning about what we call macro beer, so Bud, Heineken, Coors, and kind of learning the ins and outs of the business as he kind of grew up. And from that, he became a large distributor of beer. So a lot of the supermarkets or high-end craft beer stores kind of throughout New England, we were sending trucks and vans to those places to kind of supply them with craft beer. So he really he was a pretty pivotal person within the New England area for kind of getting craft beer, especially from California, went into local markets, stores, and really helped establish, I think, local craft beer, but also getting brands from out west to New England as well, so people can kind of see where the beer landscape was. Because traditionally, if a brewer was making the beer in his garage in California, and he never really thought about distributing beer, that was kind of the goal. Get kegs shipped over to here, or local bottles, so it was kind of a movement.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That sounds so interesting.
Yeah.
And so let's focus on like this kind of area here. So Halftime opened up how many years ago?
So we opened here in 2014.
And you're more than just, you also distribute.
So
don't you?
we do distribute some brands. We have a lot of restaurants and bars and a number of accounts that come through here. We do quite a bit of events. And we actually host quite a bit of events here as well.
Yeah, like one that you mentioned is in Harbor Island.
We do the Harbor Island Beer Festival. We started that. That was 5 years ago. We haven't done it in the past couple of years. We're still working with the village to
You're being so
make them
PC.
happy. They make us happy.
Right.
You know, I think a concern is always logistics, safety, and making sure everything runs smoothly since it is an alcohol event.
Yes.
And a lot of people do travel from all over, 6 different states and New York City. So we took a step back the past couple of years. Haven't necessarily seen eye to eye with the village, but we just had a really productive conversation with the new village manager and kind of explained what the process is going forward, and we're trying to work on it potentially for next year. But we took about 2 years to kind of revamp it. We take a long time to do things. That's kind of what we're known to do.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
Same thing with our online e-commerce division. So we're in the next 30 to 60 days. We've been sending out test shipments the past couple months, so we'll be able to ship direct to consumer. So let's say you didn't really feel like driving to here, you lived in upstate New York, or you lived in New York City, and you wanted a beer package delivered to you, it would take about 2 to 3 days.
Oh, wow.
You kind of pick out your beers online, pack it up, we send it right through our carrier, and it would be with to you by the end of the week.
Oh, that's great to know. Is it halftime.com?
Halftime beverage.
Halftime beverage. All right. And what about this this Decadent location? This is a brewery that you've attached to Halftime.
So it's a brewery. It's separate from Halftime, completely different business.
Okay.
Paul is the owner operator here, and he partnered with both my father and I, and we wanted to have an establishment where you could have great local craft beer, and Halftime has always wanted to feature certain beers that you can't necessarily have on premise. So a lot of breweries these days have limited whether the beer can be put into a crowler or a growler, or it can only be served what they call on premise. So they want the beer to only be served at a bar because they get nervous about people pouring beer into a growler or a crowler and it's sitting cold and someone drinking the beer and it being out of code or out of date or not tasting correct.
Okay.
So this was also kind of an idea for us to kind of feature some great beers that we necessarily can't serve over there in an environment where you can have food and have a local community feel here, and then also obviously drink decadent beer. That's our first and foremost goal, was to build a local brewery within the community and really feature decadent beer. That's our first and foremost goal, but to also have some really cool guest taps of breweries that we're friends with, feature
And those
ciders.
rotate?
Yeah, those rotate all the time.
Okay. And so Decadent's a brand.
Decadent's a brand, yeah.
Okay.
Brewery.
And it's made here.
It's made
locally?
here. It's made here locally. We also have a facility that we contract with as well, that we make some larger batches with, and those kind of go out to some of the westernmost states. But anything that you're drinking within New York and soon within the New England area will come out of this facility. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
I get confused myself.
No, I mean there's just so much, and your staff's amazing. They're very knowledgeable.
Thank
Right?
you. I think that's what really is kind of the defining, or really our goal, is having staff. Most time you go to buy beer, whether it's in a supermarket or it's in a distributorship or gas station. You don't really have 4 or 5 guys walking around the floor being able to tell you where the beer was made, why it was made, what style, how to pair it with food, event planning. I mean, the guys and girls that we had staffed here kind of live and breathe beer, but they love the retail aspect. They like dealing with people. I think that's kind of a lost art these days. People are so used to shopping online, which we also do as well, but kind of going into a retail establishment, developing a rapport with someone and saying, hey, you know what kind of food I like, you know what kind of beer I like to drink, what are your recommendations? So we have hundreds and hundreds of customers that come in on a weekly basis and say, what's new?
Right.
What do I try?
Right. Well, I mean, we go to the wine stores and have that experience, so it's nice that you're bringing it here to the beer side.
Yeah, I think wine and liquor have always been looked at as the high-end alcohol industry, and I think craft beer over the past 10 or 15 years has kind of put itself in a place where you can be a connoisseur of beer, you can be a beer geek, you can be into the scene, and you want to know what are the local IPAs, or sours, or stouts, or porters, or lager. I mean, there's so many different styles of beer out there. I think people forget that, not that wine is kind of red or white, and there's a lot of different variations of it.
Yeah.
But beer, there's an endless amount of array. I mean, Paul here at Decadent, I mean, he's putting rainbow cookies and marshmallows and syrup, and making beers that taste like pancakes or French toast, or making sour beers that taste like mimosas, or
So are we feeding beer to children now?
yeah, pretty much, right? That's our marketing category, 5 and under. But I think the craft beer boom has already taken place, and I think now you have to be able to market and sell something that's different than everyone else, but also offer mainstays of IPAs or session beers that people can kind of drink on a regular basis. But we've talked about partnering with a number of breweries over the years. A lot of them are already pretty established, and Decadent was so unique because Paul is just a mastermind, he's a genius. So when you're drinking a beer like last night, we were having
which I still see like the remnants of.
Yeah, we were drinking like a pina colada inspired beer that had like coconut. And I think
Are they like really hoppy and heavy, or are they more like on the lighter side, like a session side?
They're definitely high in ABV. So if you have one or two of them, you're going to feel the effects of it. They're not sessionable. What we call in the beer business session is usually around 4 or 5, maybe even times 6%.
Yeah, that's what I prefer personally.
Yeah. So you can have a number of them.
Right.
These are typically
not because of the quantity.
Yeah.
Just because
You want to be able to stand.
No, but just like the heaviness of the actual taste of it.
Yeah. So I think that it is. I don't find them particularly heavy on the palate.
Yeah.
Unless you're drinking like a double that has like fudge and coconut and milkshake style.
It sounds really heavy.
But if you're having, like we're doing a bunch of sessional beers that kind of light and crisp, and you can have a number of. But I don't find them particularly heavy. Some of them can be boozy.
What's your favorite?
Of Decadent?
Of just anything. What's your favorite beer?
I grew up on Belgian beer, so particularly my father, when he was bringing home beer, he was bringing home Westmalle, or he was bringing home St. Bernardus, at 12, really old school Belgian beer, and it's been I love American craft beer. That's the most that we sell of right now. You've seen import beer kind of dive over the past 5 or 6 years. I think just the cost of importing the beer, and I think some of the best beer in the world is being made in the U.S. right now. But I grew up on Belgian beer.
So, like, what are great beer companies here? Like you said, some of the best are being made here in the States.
I mean, I think you really have to tip your hat locally just to New York. I think the breweries in New York, I think, are making some of the best beer in the country. You look at Sleep, that's upstate in Elijahville. They just opened a facility in Fishkill. They do an amazing job. We've known Adam and Justin for such a long time. In fact, if you were to go to our Poughkeepsie store, if we get 30 cases of it in a day, it's gone that same day. And that just goes to show you that people want to support local craft beer. Equilibrium does an amazing job. Suarez, Decadent. There's other Brooklyn that's extremely famous. LIC's done an amazing job. I mean, I could list literally 40, 50 breweries that, Olmegang up in Cooperstown has been around for a long time. There's a lot of even local guys in Westchester. We've got Yonkers and Broken Bow, and Captain Lawrence. We just brewed a collaboration beer with Scott Williams, Captain Lawrence. So we went to the brewery, we did a small pilot system, and we took 16 kegs off of it. You can only get it here in the stores. So it's a very unique beer. There's a lot of good beer locally.
All right. Well, there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of noise here because it's almost 4th of July, and you have a lot.
We're in a production facility, so we're in a brewery. So they're
working.
They're brewing today,
Yeah.
and they're canning tomorrow. So tomorrow, all of the beer that they freshly made in the fermenters behind us, will be canned, and then we sell it through the weekend. And then July 4th, who knows when people are drinking? I think it'll start next week or the week after that.
Yeah, it's like a really long.
Yeah, I think this will be the
Not just
longest
a day.
drinking experience of all time, which I think will work out for us, I hope. So we're loading in, 40-foot trailers of beer all day long today. So that's what the noise is coming from. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good. It's
yeah.
good. It's people working. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. If you guys want to have more information, come here, check it out. Halftime. You are here for good, hopefully, and staying.
I
and,
hope so.
And check out the food here at Deccan. What kind of food is it?
So Decadent, we work with Hapa, and Hapa does like a Filipino, Hawaiian inspired dishes that kind of are like American spin-offs as well. So they do like amazing Hapa burger that comes in like a purple ubu bun. They've done like ramen dishes or pork sisig, which is like a really hot dish that they come out with meat and vegetables and rice, and then they pour beer on it, and it sizzles and pops. They were doing halo halo, which is shaved ice, and they put like fruit and different sauces on top of it for dessert.
So really kind of different food. We don't have
Tacos.
anything like it.
No, I mean the brewery is very different and unique in the fact that you're not going to see a lot of this beer anywhere else. And we didn't want to just put it in a typical burger and wings and chicken fingers type of place. We wanted to do something really unique and different. And it's been fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that comes out that people are like, I don't know if I'd necessarily try that. And then they eat it and they go, this is amazing.
Okay.
I mean, we obviously do the burgers and tacos and french fries and really different spin-offs on that, but there's some unique stuff to try.
That's great. And kids are invited, right? I mean, kids can come here
Love
and
kids.
love kids.
I don't think you can open a business in Westchester without having kids.
Okay, good.
allowed.
This is very, kids gentrified.
Yeah, I learned that the day one of opening. I had a lot of families come to us and say, well, thank you for allowing us to bring our kids here. And
There's a lot of room for strollers. And,
there's a lot of room for strollers.
Yeah.
All we ask is that we love well-behaved kids, and there's a lot of dangerous equipment here, but I think it's great. I mean, if you come here on the weekends, and there's always kids here.
Nice.
And
Okay.
they're always well-behaved. So good job, Westchester families.
All right, well, bring your families here. Come check it out. And good luck.
Great.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.